politically, but we have to come together, across those party lines in order to protect ourselves against that kind of threat.
She said she will work to keep the former president away from another term in the White House. The federal appeals court has put a temporary pause on a lower court's order that required Senator Lindsey Graham to testify before a special grand jury that's investigating possible criminal interference in the 2020 election. Parts of Texas today could see up to 10 inches of rain, fueling fears that there could be more flash flooding in the region. This is ABC News.
Oh, are you seeing these readings? This is incredible.
Short-staffed, Marco's climate research facility is in the eye of the storm. The atmospheric pressure to find more weather specialists is mounting.
Man, this is going to be a big job. We're going to need a bigger team.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Doug. Chances are you're jamming in your car right now. And since Liberty Mutual customizes car insurance so you only pay for what you need, Limu and I are going to show you some safe car dance moves. Hit it. Everybody, check your blind spots real quick. Now hands on the wheel. Put them 10 in 2 and move your head like a bird do. Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Hey guys, it's Zach from the Afternoon Stretch. One of the things I love about betting my favorite sports is that I'm always finding new player props or game props that I like. And what's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook is you can combine prop bets from multiple games and now even multiple sports. It's called Same Game Parlay Plus, and you can only find them on FanDuel. Combine your favorite baseball home run hitters for a chance to score an even bigger payout. If you don't want to build your own Same Game Parlay, check out their popular Same Game Parlay section where you can join the bets other users are jumping on. And if you're new to FanDuel, sign up with promo code TAS to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Make every moment more and download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Just use promo code TAS so they know that we sent you. 21 up and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789.
Hello, hi, attention everyone.
This is going to be a great show.
And it's the choice of a new generation.
And now, it's time for Run With It, your home for all things sports, headlines, scoops, and gossip. Join Run With It now. 615-844-5600. 615-844-5600. Run With It is brought to you by Smiles by Design, Boomba's Craft Pizza and Tap House, Red Rose Hype Shop, and Bite Dentistry. And now, here are your hosts of Run With It, General Patton Cook and Ray, the best bowler in the building, Dosky.
This is Run With It on Nashville Sports Radio. Ray Dosky, Devlin McKenzie. I am Patton Cook. It is so good to be back in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studios. Missed it for a week. Tuned into my guy Ray Dosky and Devlin hold it down last week. Might well, I might add, if I do say so myself. Ray, it is great to be back. It's just great to see your face, man.
Yeah, one does what one can, right? And you were kind of under the weather as you were trying to get, I heard it was like some plastic surgery or stuff. That was being done
a nose job I've been looking to get rid of for a while now. The surgeons were awesome, but no, somehow in the world, COVID struck me twice. Within a month. How that happens, ask myself and Joe Biden how that happens, because apparently we're the only two. So how that happens, I don't know, but we have survived COVID scare number 2. But one thing that was keeping me alive, Ray, you want to know what that was?
Let me guess. Cricket.
The NFL. The NFL's back. NFL. I just knew. I was like, you know what? I can't go out like this in the NFL preseason. If it's in the playoffs, it's at the Super Bowl, fair enough. But it is good to be back. If you want to call us, no guest lined up today. The only guest we will have is you, the listener. So if you want to do that, go on the Cure hotline. 615-844-5600 is that number. Give us a call, anything NFL. If you want to talk Little League World Series, actually on in the TV right now. Nolensville 2-0 in the Little League World Series. But let's not bury that lead. Let's go ahead and start talking the NFL. Deshaun Watson, that's a ruling that came down at Titans, as well as some Tom Brady news just now breaking from Adam Schefter. A mini break, not a huge break. A usual Adam Schefter bomb on a Sunday morning. Let's open up with the Titans, Ray. They had a preseason game last night against the Buccaneers. They've been having joint practices with a Tom Brady-less Tampa Bay Buccaneers here in Nashville. A lot of the starters got to work throughout the week, so didn't see a ton of them last night. I will say the defense did play a lot for the Titans. I should say a lot. They got 2 or 3 series in there before getting out of there. Early kind of reaction of the Titans preseason so far. Of course, that main storyline is going to be Malik Willis, but had a few more storylines last night with some of the main guys playing a little more last night.
Yeah, it was interesting to see how this play will play out. We all know that Nashville was hoping to see Tom Brady,
yeah,
Julio Jones, Mike, plethora of players, but unfortunately that's how preseason works. We can't really put much investment when it comes to the preseason. For us as Titan fans or, watchers,
the media.
The media of sports, you want to see what the depth's going to look like. We want to make sure. I would love to see just the stars come out for 1 or 2 series. And you've seen, look, Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
He played. I was one, and there's many out there that pray for his downfall, right? I'm not one of those guys, but there's fans that are out there I just hope Patrick Mahomes, it's going to come. And yesterday against my Washington Commanders, he just did Mahomes what he normally does, which is Mahomes things, and it looks like the Kansas City Chiefs are still the team to beat based off of this is Washington we're talking about, but still, at least he played for a full court. You saw Tua play yesterday. It'd be nice to see these stars to get in there to see what this team will look like, because right now it's been basically just the Malik Willis show, trying to get him reps and stuff like that. Unfortunately, he's fun to watch. When you watch him play, especially there was a couple rollouts, I think he made like a 25-yard run scamper on that drive where they set up his touchdown. He reminded me much of Michael Vick. He's a little bit of Lamar Jackson, a little bit of Michael Vick with the explosive whatever. But I know with the Titan fans, I was looking at the stats, whatever, and I see that by halftime he was 6 of 15, and I'm like, okay. I think that instead of him trying to rely on his abilities of running, which is great, it's going to be needed at times. Yeah. I think they want him to play within the system. We want to see when you throw the ball, and I think that's why we know that Malik Willis needs more time in terms of trying to become an NFL player. But I ask you this: do you believe that he's trustworthy now if the Titans need to throw him into a game? Do you think that the Titans brass, the coaching staff, do you think they'll feel comfortable playing him?
Well, that's the ultimate quarterback battle. I know there are a few Titans fans out there wondering, would Malik Willis shine enough to maybe put some serious pressure on Ryan Tannehill? That's not going to happen. I'm just going to go ahead and say it now. But you make a good point. I think that quarterback battle right now is at the number 2 spot between Logan Woodside and Malik Willis. And a lot of the maybe talk coming into camp was maybe Malik's going to be that number 3 guy. Logan has been in the system a long time, knows the playbook, makes the right decisions. I'm not sure we've seen that so far through preseason. That Logan Woodside's had a pick in all of the preseason games so far. I say all, there's only been 2 of them, but had one again last night trying to force it to Treylon Burks, had pressure in his face. Woodside kind of threw it out there. Malik has yet to turn the ball over, and granted, a lot of that has to do with what Mike Vrabel is probably saying in the meetings. You're not throwing the ball in as much as we would like, and I think we've seen that so far. You mentioned at Liberty some of the times when he would escape the pocket, go on the outside. He would have the athleticism to outrun pretty much everybody on that field. And as players will tell you, these 300-pound linemen, they're almost as fast as running backs. So you really can't get away with as much with your athleticism as you would. You got to trust your teammates. And I think that's one thing that we have seen so far from Malik, that I think he trusts his arm, and I think we've seen that. He's fit some tight balls into some tough situations. I'm not sure he's trusted his teammates enough. We have not really seen him throw up many jump balls at all, specifically to a guy I'd like to see a little bit more of, Treylon Burks. Only, I think, 1 or 2 catches through his preseason so far. He played a lot of the game last night, which I was a little surprised about. But I think that battle right now is going to be between Malik Willis and Logan Woodside. And as a fan, I've seen enough of Logan Woodside to know what he is. I think he's a below-average NFL backup in this league. I think Malik Willis has that upside. But then again, in a perfect world, we don't see any of them this season. So I take that with what you will. But for me, if I'm that head coach, if you will, I've got Malik at number 2 just because I've seen enough from what Logan Woodside is. He is not impressed in this preseason. He's playing for a job right now.
Yeah, when you look at the wide receivers when it comes to the Titans, especially the rookie wide receivers, it's not been Treylon Burks that's actually been starring. It's been Kyle Phillips, the fifth rounder, right?
Right.
I mean, he had a punt return almost that could have broke away. I think went for 35 yards, and he was utilized a lot on third down. So that was nice to see. With Treylon Burks, there's been a lot more. He's played a lot more than what he's produced. Now, granted, you're playing with Malik Willis, who's throwing He's throwing 6 of 15 passes. Right. There's not a lot of targets going out there, and you just spoke about like how they want him to, throw the ball more. If there's another time for you to throw the ball and not really affect you or hurt you, is in the preseason.
Yep.
It's okay. You throw a pick, you throw 2 picks, that's fine. Great. They want to see that because from there you'll start to build, you'll start to grow, you start to evolve and learn from those mistakes. Now when you go into the game, go tape, to the coach's room and you start looking at the quarterback room and start talking about what you did wrong, you see like, hey, do you know why you made this play? What were you seeing here? Sure. And the coach will like basically go and he'll just help you out. And we all knew when him coming in terms of being able to read defenses, that was one of the knocks that he had, right? Always relying on his God-given ability. But I think that a lot of times I feel that they want to see more efficiency from Malik Willis to possibly grow because, I mean, all eyes has been on him this entire preseason.
Right. He's been the guy.
Yeah.
And I think we saw a lot of that kind of in the first 2 games, and he talked about it kind of after the game where he maybe got a little riled up. And I think that's one thing I've seen personally, Ray, is anytime there's any pressure in the pocket, you see quarterbacks, they tuck their head and start running to the outside, but the elite ones, and that's ultimately what the Titans want them to be because in the best case scenario, you get Tannehill for 1 to 3 more years, and then after that contract is over, Malik Willis can step in there, and you've already got the quarterback in waiting, if you will. But the elite ones, they tuck their head and run, and then once they get to the outside, they've still got eyes down the field looking for receivers to get open. That's one thing I don't think we've seen just yet, and that's not a knock, and I think a lot of fans do need to remember there's a reason why Malik Willis fell to the 3rd round. Yeah. There's a reason he wasn't picked by Pittsburgh in the first round. Instead, they went with Kenny Pickett, which that pick looks pretty good right now, I must say, if I'm Pittsburgh right now. But I think a lot of the rookies right now, I think so far, the best looking one for me on the offensive end, you mentioned Kyle Phillips. Special teams, why he has showed up a lot, and not necessarily offensively, which I've been a little bit surprised about. But I have loved what I've seen from Hassan Haskins, running back out of Michigan, just running rampant all over yesterday against Tampa Bay and ran over Logan Ryan in the joint practices. So some of the rookies have been showing up, and Ray, we've talked about this in abundance. The rookie class this year, it's maybe the most important rookie class they've ever had in quite some time under the John Robinson area, just because they're having to replace some guys that they've whiffed on. Isaiah Wilson, Kevin Dodd. They didn't whiff on A.J. Brown, but they let him go. So that's where Treylon Burks kind of fills in. And I feel a little bit better after these first 2 preseason games than maybe coming into training camp because there's a lot of holes to fill, I think.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at in terms of trying to build the depth and see what this team is made up right now, yeah, it was a great victory yesterday against the Buccaneers, but at the same time, I still don't know what this starting offensive line looks like. I mean,
that's a big question.
For me, like I spoke last week, I was about like, and I think I had asked, the viewers out there, like, who is the most important player this year for the Titans? I mean, we went through the entire AFC South, for the Texans, the Jaguars, what have you. And you hear the defaults, the Derrick Henrys, the Ryan Tannehills. For me, it's the offensive line. The pass protection was not that great last night, but and that's probably a reason why it was another quiet night for Treylon Burks. It was another reason why that Malik Willis had to use his feet more, use his ability more or less, basically trying to show the efficiency and kind of grow into the system. So that's why I was like, I would just hope they'd get a series in to see what it looks like in terms of that. In terms of the Haskins, Haskins is a bull. I think that the running back position, in terms of like if Derrick Henry were to go down, God forbid, of course, but
knock on wood.
Yeah, right, knock on wood. But if there needed to be a backup, I mean, especially if you're in fantasy football like lovers, if you got Derrick Henry, Haskins need to be your handcuff because the guy was a highly touted running back coming from Michigan. Yep. I think that he brings that physicality that the Tennessee Titans like, that Mike Vrabel wants at the running back position. In terms of the right tackle, I feel like that still there's no one really separate themselves in terms of like Rennans and Freed. I think there's no separation between who's going to be that starting right tackle, especially even left guard. I mean, you show flashes, but still. That's still being under. And look, we know the left tackle position, the center position. We got all pros, and and Ben Jones and Trey Lewan. I would love to see how they would just be to play together for just one series, because I don't want it to come to week one and everyone's just flat. That's the reason why I hate when they don't play stars now. Granted, I understand why, because we've seen injuries throughout this entire.
Well, we saw what happened last year in week one, in Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona, right. So, like, you get scared about that, but still, like, this is football. It's a contact sport.
Yep.
You have to get them out there, because if you talk to any player that's actually a veteran that's already in that starting role, they'll tell you, like, a lot of times for them, since their position's already staked, like, they're good to go by the regular season, they practice, they train, but they don't train as hard as opposed to someone who's really trying to fight to make a spot on the team or to fill that roster, whether it be special teams or what have you. By week one, they're like, they're slow, they're not really moving, they're like they're lethargic, they're just like, it takes them about a few weeks, because their first month of the regular season is their training camp where they're getting themselves back into shape. So they get into prime shape by October, and then you start to see the teams that are great. Now other teams have basically started with their players all through preseason. It's a different story. So I would love for them to get at least one or two like runs, because I want to see Treylon Brooks with a Ryan Tannehill at quarterback, who's going to distribute the ball.
I'm not really sure why Tannehill hasn't been playing. We mentioned the whole Patrick Mahomes, maybe the best quarterback in the league right now. He's getting quite a few series in with the Chiefs right now. He even played in the first one. And traditionally, that last preseason game, that's all guys who are looking to make the roster. So I don't think we'll end up seeing Tannehill at all through these first three preseason games. And kind of just looking at their schedule early on, of course, the Giants, that's who they open up with. And then they got a three-game stretch that could define their season. Bills, Raiders, Colts. Those three games right there. In Colts on the road, you get the Raiders at home, and the Bills are on the road. So I think we make a good point there. And on the offensive line, in a best-case scenario, you've got two new offensive linemen right there, right tackle and left guard. That is if Nate Davis, Ben Jones, and Taylor Lewan all end up playing. And the thing we saw from Nate Davis, didn't dress last night, was injured, so we didn't get to see any of him at right guard. Got to see Taylor for a little bit, as well as Ben Jones, but right tackle's a big question mark, like you mentioned, and I think it's unfortunate that it is a question mark, because you got Dylan Radins last year in the draft for this very reason. To really, I don't know if they wanted him to start right away at right tackle, but I'm sure they were thinking surely by the year 2022 in August that we would know who our right tackle is. I think it's a bit of an indictment on how his play is. Didn't really look good again last night. I'm not sure what you're going to get out of right tackle.
He's a second-round pick, is
correct,
he not? I mean, that's high stakes. I mean, in terms of that's high draft capital in terms of trying to solidify a right tackle position, because they always tell you can get linemen later rounds, whether it be the second going into the middle rounds. You could get a solid starter. We put a second-round pick on Radins to be a right tackle. We lost Roger Sapp, who was probably one of, if not the best guard run blocking lineman in the NFL, and he's in Buffalo. And we saw what Buffalo did yesterday. They just put a shellacking on Denver, and so it seems like the linemen, like you spoke about, like years past when we took a risk on this, and we lost Conklin years prior to that. Like it's just been like the same story over and over.
Conklin's probably been the least drama-filled tackle draftee that John Robinson has had, and I think Nicholas Petit-Ferrier, I think it's unreasonable really to ask him to go in there and start at right tackle on opening day. I think it's all on Dylan Radins. He's been in training camp for 2 years now. We got to see an entire year last year. He filled in against Nick Bosa. I thought he did okay last year. So still some question marks on the Titans. If you have any questions of your own, call us up at 615-844-5600.
On the Cure hotline, by the way.
Exactly, on the Cure hotline. Before we send it to a break, I want to tell you about our friends over at Smiles by Design. They are proudly supporting Run With It. And it has been such a good partnership with them. Dr. Dwayne Jones is the head dentist over there, located in Smyrna at 105 Street Industrial Boulevard. Been going to them for a couple of years now, and one of the great things about them is you can go to them for multiple of reasons. Kind of cosmetics, you need some work done, need a cavity filled. They're a great dentist to go to. One of those reasons why is they got needle-free cavity filling, state-of-the-art technology over there at Smiles by Design, one of the few practices in Middle Tennessee that has that, where you don't have to bring out the big needle and stab those gums of yours. They got needle-free cavity fillings. They load you up and no pain at all. I've done that a few times, sadly. Sorry, Mom. But had a few needle-free cavity fillings, and they are just awesome over there at Smiles by Design. If you have any questions for him and need some work done and you just want to talk to Dr. Jones to kind of get his perspective on it and anything like that, do it at 615-355-1033. He would be happy to take your phone call. If you want to kind of check out the place, do it. Once again, it's located in Smyrna at 105 Threet Industrial Boulevard. If you're looking for dentistry services, give my friends over at Smiles by Design a try. We'll see you back here in a minute or so. Smile and on Run With It, Nashville Sports Radio, 615-844-5600. Give us a call on the Cure Hotline.
Woo, it's a scorcher out there, but we've got tips that'll keep you chilling this August. Tip number 1, keep your AC in peak condition. Tip number 2, drink lots of fluids. Tip number 3, go for refreshing top prizes up to a cool $1 million by playing all new August Insta games from the Tennessee Lottery. All of these exhilarating games can lead to cold, hard cash. So head to the shade of your nearest Tennessee Lottery retailer and enjoy some game-changing fun today.
Only from the Tennessee Lottery. Please play responsibly.
From scholarship and grant programs to providing students with the qualifications and certifications they need to start their professional careers, the Tennessee Lottery has awarded more than $6.5 billion in funding to education programs, and we're proud to play our part. See for yourself how all of the fun of the Tennessee Lottery goes to supporting someone's future and a brighter tomorrow at tnlottery.com.
Hey Nashville, Ray here. Many of us suffer from anxiety when going to the dentist. You guys need to check out my friends over at Bite Dentistry, where Dr. Lewis and her team are amazing. Bite Dentistry is where my family goes for all of our dental care. Their mission is to help patients breathe better, smile bigger, and live longer by offering a comprehensive selection of services and total dental care for every member of your family. Bite Dentistry is the only dentist in town trained and certified to offer the Vivos method that helps with people who grind their teeth at night or snore that causes sleep apnea. The Vivos technology is also provided for both kids and adults. They also work with a company called Guard Lab, which creates custom mouth guards, which are the same mouth guards used by the Tennessee Titans. Located at 3212 West End Avenue, Suite 301, Nashville, you can set up an appointment by calling them at 615-866-2129. That's 615-866-2129. And follow them on social media and online at bitedds.com. What's up, Nashville? It's Ray from Run With It. Let me tell you about my good friends over at Red Rose Hype Shop. If you're looking to upgrade your closet with the flyest streetwear and brands like Yeezys, Jordans, Supremes, and much more, go see my friends at Red Rose Hype Shop, the hottest place in Nashville where you can buy, sell, trade, and even consign your gear. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram by searching at Red Rose Hype Shop. You can also visit them at 1187 Antioch Pike, Nashville. They're open from noon to 6 Tuesday through Saturday and 12:30 to 5 on Sundays. And be sure to tell them that Ray sent you.
You have a 90% chance of surviving a lightning strike. You have a 98% chance of surviving a shark attack. You have a 99% chance of surviving a snake bite. But you only have a 50% chance of surviving a crash if you aren't wearing a seatbelt. Your truck may be tough, but a seatbelt makes it tougher. Buckle up in your truck. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
Hey, it's Patton Cook from Run With It. Let me tell you about my friends over at Smiles by Design. Dr. Dwayne Jones and his team focus on providing you with personalized, gentle care that you deserve. Smiles by Design are one of the few practices that offer state-of-the-art, needle-free cavity fillings. I started going to Dr. Jones 2 years ago, and he has completely changed my smile. They are located at 105 Threet Industrial Boulevard, Unit 1001 in Smyrna. You can visit their website at drdwaynejones.com for more information, or you can call them at 615-355-1033. Again, their number is 615-355-1033, or you can search for them on social media at Smiles by Design. So be sure the next time you're looking for dentistry services, give my friends over at Smiles by Design a try. And don't forget to tell them Patton sent you.
It's a Bill King Show.
Johnny Vegas this morning. Again, hey, Bill, is Georgia football going to be any good this year? Asking for a friend. Georgia will be favored in every game that we know is on their schedule. They'll be very good. Georgia has recruited so well that they're better than everybody in the SEC East, even if they lost their roster. I'm not kidding about that.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
FanDuel, the NFL Week 1 odds are out, and now's the time to try FanDuel Sportsbook. If you haven't already, get in on the action early this season. Right now on FanDuel Sportsbook, customers can get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. Just got to sign up using the promo code WNSR, and you can place your first bet, and FanDuel will give you up to $1,000 back in free bets if you don't win. Some of the bets I'm looking at right now, Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor, those are the two guys favorited to win the NFL rushing title. I mean, I'm wearing my Tennessee Titans underpants on right now, so I'm picking Derrick Henry without a doubt. But it all starts with the app on FanDuel. It is so easy to do. You can get in there, find a bet that you like, place that bet, and it is just so quick. And once you do win, that money's right in your account right away. They do not take any time putting that fresh cash into your account. There's no better place to get ready for the football season than on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook and official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up using promo code WNSR to get started with your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. Once again, that is promo code WNSR. You got to be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. First online. Real money wager only. Refund issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789. Ray and Devlin, you two were involved on a bit of a marathon broadcast on Friday night.
We were.
Some high school football. Go ahead and plug that for us, because I listened. I had a game of my own on Friday night, but Saturday morning I just went through and listened to you guys. Really great job.
Yeah, we had the Mid-State check down this week. That was played. It was the game of the week. We were at Springfield versus Greenbrier, where our very own Greg Pogue with Joe Fisher were out there calling the play. It was a lot of fun. And then after the game was done, they came back into the studios with myself and Bruno Reagan to do the post-game show with Devlin. It was a lot of fun. I mean, high school football is here now. It's getting real. There was so much action. It was just now I can't wait for like this Friday to come. Like I just want the week to go by. Right. On Friday we do it all over again, because I mean we're in the studio for 5 hours. We start at, I think we had a 6:45 game, and then after that there was a Murphy Fair pregame show prior to that. That kind of kicked off things, which was really awesome. Yeah. Then we went right into the game, and then right after that, it was us, and we were probably here till about midnight, and it was just a ton of fun.
Yeah, to have that
great job by those guys.
Exactly, to have that pregame. Not a lot of people know that. I believe we're the only station in the Middle Tennessee area getting that kind of pregame show. So really good stuff to have. Next week, Greg Pogue and Joe Fisher, they'll be traveling to Creekwood. Is there a Fairview and Creekwood? That'll be a nice little battle in the district for Fairview and Creekwood. So anytime, it is always good to listen to some high school football. They officially kicked off the football season, of course, next weekend. This upcoming Saturday, college football week 0 is back. Vanderbilt and Hawaii will be playing. That'll be kind of the last game of the night pretty much. And actually here on this station, WNSR will be kicking off the college football season. Western Kentucky taking on my alma mater, the Austin Peay State Governors. So it is great to have football back in the Middle Tennessee area and back in the country for that matter. Let's go ahead and talk a little more NFL. And one of the storylines that we kind of touched on briefly in that first segment, Tom Brady was kind of excused from the team for a couple of weeks now, Ray, for personal reasons. And part of the personal reasons that I think it was, Ray, is they've had offensive linemen dropping like flies, and I think at this point they're just looking to get Tom Brady healthy into the season, and they lost yet another offensive lineman again last night. Aaron Stinney, the guard for them, tore his ACL against the Titans last night. So the depth at offensive line, I'm sure it's making Tom Brady maybe rethink his decision, if you will, to come back for another year or two of NFL football.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you think about what's going on with Tampa Bay, it seems like every year there's a few teams that get hit by the injury bug, right?
Yep.
Just at the start of the preseason, there was a hit on the Jets. They lost back then their left tackle, Zach Wilson. So he gets hurt. I think he's out to 2-4 weeks due to a bone bruise, which just it sucks. and that they're going to continue to test what have you. I think did he go to surgery? I believe he went to surgery.
Yes.
He had surgery, so I think that in terms of week 1, that's still a question mark if he's going to be able to play or not. Speaking of Tom Brady, it's funny that you bring that. We'll get to Tampa Bay here in a minute. Did you see what Dana White said yesterday during the UFC fight?
I did. He spilled the beans a little bit, didn't he?
Like, I didn't know he was like that tight with the Raiders and John Gruden. Like, I'm like, really? Apparently, there was talks that the Raiders they were literally like, the deal was almost done to trade for not only because Gronk was on the set as well with Dana White during the UFC 278 last night, which by the way was a great card.
Yes.
Yeah, it was just so crazy.
I'm a little tired from it. Actually,
yeah,
I stayed up a little late.
Yeah, but that knockout that happened to Usman, I don't feel. I saw it coming. I mean, the guy, when you talk about Edwards, he throws like Leon just threw that left hand, kind of hid the left kick coming right after, and then boom, he fell down. I was like, I love that combo. That's a combo I always use when I train. But going back to Tom Brady during that the show, Gronk tells Dana White, "Go ahead and say it, spill the beans." And so Dana White talks about like how it was almost a done deal that they were going to trade for the Raiders. That was for Gronk and Tom Brady. And at the very last, at the 25th hour, guess what happens? John Gruden says no.
He loves him some Derek Carr.
How do you turn down Tom Brady? If I'm John Gruden. Like, you love veteran quarterbacks. You get come on, the GOAT. And he's a veteran quarterback.
Well,
you don't like developing rookie quarterbacks. Yeah. You never have.
I've got an idea. And John Gruden, nobody loves John Gruden more than John Gruden. And you can boss around Derek Carr as much as you like. Tom Brady, all he has to do is look at you, put up 5 fingers, and then you proceed to sit back down pretty quickly. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but Tom Brady went on The Shop, of course, LeBron James HBO kind of series that he has where he gets all these athletes going together. I just want to read you this quote. One of the teams they weren't interested in the very end, I was thinking, you're sticking with this mother?
Yep.
I think we know who that mother is. That's Derek Carr.
Derek Carr.
I too am a little surprised. And then again, it's John Gruden, and we know where John Gruden is right now. He's on his couch, and he's getting paid a lot of money right now. And whether or not that's the reason he got paid a lot of money, that's something we can discuss on a different day. But I am a little surprised. And Derek Carr, he's a top 10, 15 quarterback. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you have a chance to get a top 3, top 1 quarterback, the best quarterback of all time, even at that age, we've seen what he is with Tampa Bay. He looks no worse than what he was with New England 8 years ago. And that's really something to behold. The weapons, I think we could discuss. I don't think the Raiders ever had the weapons that Tampa Bay has right now with Mike Evans, Leonard Fournette, Chris Godwin. They ended up getting Antonio Brown. So there's a lot to that story, but I did see that last night. And I know Dana White is close with Tom Brady, but I am stunned that Dana White is as good as the I don't know what he's like he's like Jesus Christ in football. He's just making moves around downtown.
Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport should be worried now.
Yeah.
Because he's over here breaking news and stuff, and I don't know.
How did neither one of them know that story, by the way?
Yeah. I don't know if they probably did. I don't know if they got full disclosure to be able to speak on it. And I think
off the record.
Dana's just like, whatever. Like, and Dana didn't want to say anything until Gronk says on the show last night during UFC 278, go and say it. And he did. He spills the beans, whatever. He's like, all right, I'll say it. And I'm thinking to myself,
ESPN's done a good job getting that Gronk on for the UFC. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm hoping to bring on Gronk here on the show here during the season as well. So
stay tuned here on National Sports Radio.
Absolutely, because he's actually coming here for an event sometime in August, and he's good friends of like some of our sponsors, one of our sponsors, Boom Boss. So we're gonna have him come in the studio. Or
I thought you were joking with me right there.
No. It's really gonna happen. Right. Like I think it's gonna happen. So just stay tuned for that. But in terms of like what John Gruden did, you have an opportunity. We all know you don't, like I said earlier, you do not develop rookie quarterbacks. No. You get a veteran, you get a guy. If you get a Tom Brady, you're almost guaranteed a Super Bowl. He's shown that in Tampa Bay. You bring him in Gronk, what do? They brought a Super Bowl to Tampa Bay.
1 year in.
1 year in. 1 year in. And you're telling me no because you went after the you know what?
Right.
I'm not gonna say it.
Mother, and then
we're trying to keep it. Right. We're trying to keep it PG.
This is a Sunday show.
Absolutely. So I'm not surprised, but like I'm surprised by this move. I think that he just felt like he needed to support Derek Carr. And look, Derek Carr is a great quarterback. He's a good quarterback. I think this is the year for him. I think that he's going to take that next step. Now he has Devontae Adams. He's got Renfro. He's got Darren Waller. He's got pieces there that he can basically. And Josh McDaniels, who I think is very underrated of hiring in the AFC West, I think he's going to elevate his game to the next echelon because I think that's what the Raiders need. In terms of passing on Tom Brady, I think, dude, I've never coached in the NFL, but I would make the trade. I'm not even a coach, yeah, granted, but I would make the trade. I don't care what it costs you. If it costs me 2 first-round picks, hey, if I give you 3 first-round picks, whatever, for Tom Brady.
I think New England would have loved that trade.
Yeah, they would love that trade. And then I guarantee you, if the Raiders were able to get Tom Brady, we all know the history between the Raiders and the Patriots. Right. Would they accept a Tom Brady trade with the whole, the tuck rule and what have you back that when that happened?
The memes would have been great.
The memes would have been great. Now, phone, now friend, you're.
And again, we still got the memes anyway with all this.
So I'm just thinking to myself, what do you do now? Oh, well, I got Tom Brady. I guarantee you, Raider fans will switch the script quick on them becoming a fan. They'll buy Raider jersey, Raiders, we got Tom Brady, and they bring him a Super Bowl for the next 10 years. No matter what draft picks you gave up, the Raiders got that Super Bowl ring. They don't care.
Well, I wonder how Derek Carr's going to handle this because he's going to get asked about it.
Yeah,
next time he steps to the podium, he's going to have to explain himself.
To address that.
He's going to explain why the Raiders ended up keeping him instead of Tom Brady, and I feel bad for him. And I agree with you. I think this year is going to be the year. If anything's going to happen in Las Vegas, it has to be this year. The moves they've made, getting Chandler Jones over there, you get Devontae Adams. That's a defense, and this is granted, the division they're in, they could easily miss the playoffs. That's as sad as it is with San Diego, Denver, the Chiefs themselves. They could easily not make the playoffs and miss the wild card. So there's a lot to break down in there, but Dana White breaking that as he has one of his biggest cards the entire year, Usman and Leon Edwards. That's just classic Dana White.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's just I think we'll see what happens there, but I know we're about to go to a break now, so let me start by this. We talked about some things that are coming up on the show this coming year. For us, we'll possibly be being at Boom Balls out in East Nashville. Started, I think, September 11th with the first kickoffs. We'll probably be out there doing our shows every week. We're really excited. They're excited. We're going to be doing there. We're going to be the pre-game show, the NFL kickoff game show that gets you all the action. We're going to do fantasy football. Oh, if you're out there listening, you can follow us on social media, whether Twitter, on Facebook, Get Out Us, or Run With It, or WNSR. We're going to actually have and this is great. I don't know if you've seen it already, Pat, but I've actually got the trophy for the fantasy football. We got fantasy football trophy. It's about.
Is the pressure not on
super
now?
Massive.
Come on.
It looks like the Lombardi trophy. I'm super stoked about that.
The NFL gave us the rights.
Yeah, they gave us the rights. We got that. We got a Super Bowl ring. So it's going to be sponsored. I think Boombox is going to throw a $100 gift card.
There we go.
Also, we're going to be doing another thing that upcoming in the show. We're going to Red Rose is also going to be donating, gift cards in terms of the whole fantasy football league as well. I'll be sending out to all my Instagram guys out there. If you guys want to join, I'll send the link. I'm going to actually send it out today. I have not forgot about you. So we're looking at probably a live draft, September 4th. I'm thinking on a Sunday. It's a Sunday prior to the Thursday night game at Boom Boss. I'm thinking in the afternoon, what have you, maybe 5, 6 o'clock. So Evelyn, guys, watch out. We're going to get synced in there, get some pizza, hang out, have a few drinks, and just have a lot of laughs. And we can jaw each other and make fun of every one of our picks that we get. But if you guys don't want to shoot, you can come if you want to come tomorrow, I'll be there for poker. Every Monday night at Boom Buzz. Starts at 7 over at East Nashville. But if you wanted to play trivia, you got Boom Buzz over in East Nashville, Bellevue, or go check the many locations over at Murfreesboro, Spring Hill as well. So Boom Buzz, a lot of fun, family stuff. They got short putt-putt. It's a great place for venue for families. So, but I'm excited about the fantasy football season. So before that, let's go ahead and cut to a break. We'll be back more. We'll talk some NFL here on Run With It. Ray Dosky, Pat Cook, Devin behind the boards.
Hey, it's Patton Cook from Run With It. Let me tell you about my friends over at Smiles by Design. Dr. Dwayne Jones and his team focus on providing you with personalized, gentle care that you deserve. Smiles by Design are one of the few practices that offer state-of-the-art, needle-free cavity fillings. I started going to Dr. Jones 2 years ago, and he has completely changed my smile. They are located at 105 Threet Industrial Boulevard, Unit 1001 in Smyrna. You can visit their website at drdwaynejones.com for more information, or you can call them at 615-355-1033. Again, their number is 615-355-1033, or you can search for them on social media at Smiles by Design. So be sure the next time you're looking for dentistry services, give my friends over at Smiles by Design a try. And don't forget to tell them Patton sent you.
tell you, though, one of the things I love about betting my favorite sports is that I'm always finding new player props or game props that I like. And what's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook is you can combine prop bets from multiple games and now even multiple sports. It's called Same Game Parlay Plus, so you can only find them on FanDuel. Combine player props you love with your favorite baseball home run hitters for a chance to score an even bigger payout. If you don't want to build your same game parlay, check out their popular Same Game Parlay section where you can join the bets other users are jumping on. And if you're new to FanDuel, sign up with promo code Greg P to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Make every moment more. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Just use promo code Greg P.
Use the promo code Greg P.
See, and from the Peanuts section, John Burton.
Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Site credit is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Terms apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. For problem gambling support, call 1-800-889-9789.
DQ presents how to experience the new DQ Reese's Take 5 Blizzard with your 5 senses. First, open your eyes and see it all. Reese's peanut butter cups, caramel, peanuts, pretzels. It's beautiful. Then feel it. Oh, it's cold. Next, listen to it. Now, smell it with your nose. Oh, sweet top notes. And finally, taste it. Experience the new Reese's Take 5 Blizzard today. DQ, happy tastes good. Get it delivered at DQ.com. Delivery subject to availability, additional fees, and minimum order requirements.
What's up, Nashville? It's Ray from Run With It. Let me tell you about my good friends over at Red Rose Hype Shop. If you're looking to upgrade your closet with the flyest streetwear and brands like Yeezys, Jordans, Supremes, and much more, go see my friends at Red Rose Hype Shop, the hottest place in Nashville where you can buy, sell, trade, and even consign your gear. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram by searching at Red Rose Hype Shop. You can also visit them at 1187 Antioch Pike, Nashville. They're open from noon to 6 Tuesday through Saturday and 12:30 to 5 on Sundays. And be sure to tell them that Ray sent you. Hey Nashville, Ray here. Many of us suffer from anxiety when going to the dentist. You guys need to check out my friends over at Bite Dentistry, where Dr. Lewis and her team are amazing. Bite Dentistry is where my family goes for all of our dental care. Their mission is to help patients breathe better, smile bigger, and live longer by offering a comprehensive selection of services and total dental care for every member of your family. Bite Dentistry is the only dentist in town trained and certified to offer the Vivos method that helps with people who grind their teeth at night or snore that causes sleep apnea. The Vivos technology is also provided for both kids and adults. They also work with a company called Guard Lab, which creates custom mouth guards, which are the same mouth guards used by the Tennessee Titans. Located at 3212 West End Avenue, Suite 301, Nashville, you can set up an appointment by calling them at 615-866-2129. That's 615-866-2129. And follow them on social media and online at bitedds.com.
Hey, Braves fan, it's time for baseball, and that means it's time to cheer on the World Series defending champions, the Atlanta Braves, in the 2022 season. Attorney Klein Preston of the Klein Preston Law Group wants you to join him in cheering on the World Series defending champions, the Atlanta Braves, for the start of the 2022 season. Here's to another amazing season for Braves country here on your home for the Atlanta Braves. Nashville Sports Radio.
Welcome back to Run With It, live from the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center Studios here on a Sunday. That Cure Hotline, 615-844-5600. If you got any NFL, any Little League World Series, college football starting up here soon, Ray. So really just football in general is officially back here. Of course, had the high school football season get kicked off last night. It was a really, really great broadcast from Greg Pogue and Joe Fisher. Ray, you and Bruno did pretty good as well, I must say. It was awesome to just kind of have really high school football back on this station. I know with the pandemic, kind of had to get some things back lined up, but we've got a heck of a setup for this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got so much that we're going to have on deck this year. Like, this is the time we look forward to, right?
Yep.
You have the June, July time frame where everything's quiet, and then all of a sudden what happens? Football is right here. High school football started last week. This week's college football.
Yep.
It's all about Alabama or nothing, right? It's either Alabama and or Georgia. Sprinkle in maybe a Clemson on that team. Ohio State's another one out there.
Yeah.
I mean, C.J. Stroud to see if he's going to be able to do this, work the magic. But
does Quinn Ewers bring Texas back?
Is Young going to be the quarterback that's going to lead Alabama back to the championship season, year this year and stuff like that? But I want to talk to you about something that I'm getting on Instagram. Apparently, a lot of people are asking about fantasy football because we are now in fantasy football time frame now.
And we've had a few guests on, so we're experts now.
Yeah, I think so. I hope so.
I hope so, too.
We got to start giving out rankings here,
right?
Positions here in the next coming shows, what have you. We're 2 weeks away, right? Most people have their drafts. We have not.
I'm actually glad we haven't. Because,
why would you?
Right.
Why would you? We've seen all the injuries and get past week 3 and then you have the draft. But yes, I used to be one of those guys. Like I think the earliest I've ever done a draft was like first week of July. And that's when I was like 4 years ago. And I'm like, what do I do? Like, I think
like
I drafted
how insane was I?
Like I drafted like 3 or 4 players, and I think of the players, I think 1 or 2 actually were injured for that year. It was the year that Jordy Nelson he got hurt. That's how long ago it was.
Oh,
it was
wow.
Like years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why did we have the draft in July? Like, I told my friends, they're like, oh, because of schedule. I'm like, screw this.
Players hadn't even got their shoulder pads on yet before
they're still on
Dosky.
vacation. Why are we doing the draft? It's like that itch. Like, I got to go do the draft now.
Right.
We got to have the draft right now. I'm like, stop. Like, easy. But anyways, so I got a fantasy football question that came from Packers Fans 379. He's in a.
Yep.
So, he's in a, let's see, looks like a 2-keeper league. And he's got 2 players, I believe. He's in a 2-player keeper league. I believe these 2 players belong to him. He's got Adams or Hill, Devontae Adams or Tyreek Hill. And he basically says that which one do you choose? Because he feels like he doesn't trust Tua. I get that.
Yeah.
I get why you wouldn't trust Tua. I would in a keeper league. I would definitely play Devontae Adams. I mean, he's still relatively young. I think him and Hill are probably around the same age.
Right around it.
Right around it. I think Devontae Adams is a little.
Both of them are on their first big contract.
Right. So I would trust Adams because the connection's there. I think that he's going to see a lot of targets. It goes down to like this scheme. I think that when you look at his Miami offense with Mike McDaniels, I think that Hill's going to play a lot of what Deebo Samuel played in San Francisco. He's going to be that Swiss Army knife. He's going to be able to do everything, whether it be like option runs. He's going to be playing running back, line up behind the line of scrimmage, inside the slot, like outside. I think they're going to move him all around the offensive line. The only problem is that can Tua do enough to distribute enough targets to Tyreek Hill? Now, we all know that Jimmy G is possibly out there. He might be cut, regular season. I thought that Miami might be a great destination for him to go. I know you heard talks about going to Cleveland. I know there's a lot of reports out there.
Atlanta.
Oh, he's going to Cleveland. Yeah. Atlanta, Seattle. I just think if you were looking at a team, I would think that Miami would be a good sleeper team because like he was saying.
You're not even going to have to give up anything.
You don't have to give up
Jimmy
anything.
G.
And like he already knows the system.
Yeah.
He's a safe quarterback, will play, conserve the ball. And I think that, and we all know Miami has 45,000 running backs.
Right.
I mean, they've got every running back that was a free agent this year. They picked up this
I think
year.
they still got Ricky Williams.
I think they still even got Ricky Williams on there. But when you look at Devontae Adams, I think that offense, I think that they're going to need to score a lot of points as opposed to when you look at the AFC East, which is probably going to be defensive matchups.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the AFC West, I think that it's going to be a primetime game week in and week out between those 4 teams in that gauntlet of an AFC West. It's going to be in the 30s each week when they play these 4 teams play each other during the season.
Sure.
And let alone let's not forget that the AFC West. Who did they get this year? They get the AFC South. So you got 2 teams that they're going to run all probably Jacksonville and that's right, the Texans.
Yeah.
And then you have us and of course Indianapolis. I think Devontae Adams would probably be the more sleeper, the key player I would want to keep as in terms of like over Hill because I think that he's going to see targets. I think that if you were to fade anybody in that fantasy lineup for Oakland for the Las Vegas Raiders, it's probably Darren Waller.
Yeah, and really what made Devontae Adams so good is the amount of times Aaron Rodgers would throw to him. Literally in any situation in the red zone, you knew where that ball was going most times. It was either going to go to him or Robert Tonyan. And the only thing that worries me about Devontae Adams is you've got 2 guys in that Raiders system who Derek Carr trusts a lot. Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller. They're going to take a lot of touches away from Devontae Adams this year. And I think you look at it over at Miami, they've got some weapons. They got, of course, Jalen Waddle's really going to be probably the main kind of threat of targets and catches.
I've titled them Legion of Zoom.
Yeah, that is not a bad one. they both can probably outrun anybody in the league right now. But Waddle's really the only threat you really have to worry about with Tyreek Hill. So that's my only worry. But then again, you look at Devontae Adams and Derek Carr. These two were throwing to each other in college. So it's not like they don't have any rapport at all coming into the season. But I'm with you. I think this Raiders offense, it doesn't have as much question marks as what Miami does, because even though Tua has kind of had some nice little clips being shown on Twitter from throwing deep passes to Tyreek Hill, and I did enjoy the fan reaction. I don't know if you saw that, Ray, of Tua throwing the ball 60 yards, and
and
fans are
retweeted.
I mean, they're booking Instagram Super Bowl tickets. I mean, as much as I would, quite frankly, if I was a Dolphins fan and went through what they've gone through here recently. But I tend to agree with you. I like Devontae Adams, and I think he's going to get his touches. But Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller, those two do scare me because those are catch monsters without a doubt.
Yeah, I think that when you look at what Derek Carr has done with the Oakland Raiders, I mean the Las Vegas. God, I keep saying Oakland. I always want to say Las Vegas every time. Over 4,000 yards over the last 4 years.
Yep.
You know, he distributes the ball. You bring a Josh McDaniels, who a lot of people look. There's one sleeper people are not talking about, and that's Kenyon Drake. If you look at Drake, Drake will be the new James Washington of the NFL. I mean, the old running back that was with the Patriots. I'm losing his name.
Oh, James
White. Sorry, James
yeah.
White. Because if you look at the first preseason game, what happened? You saw a lot of Josh Jacobs. And people were like, "Why is he playing well until like the second quarter? It's only first preseason game."
Which is odd.
Yeah, it was odd. Oh, yeah, there'd be a lot of question marks,
Yeah.
and then I think that Josh McDaniels had to address like he's not going anywhere. He's not being traded. I think it's just Josh McDaniels to find out to see what pieces he has to play with this year. Then you look at Drake, third down guy. I mean, he plays James White's role to a T.
Yep.
If I'm going, I'm in a PPR league, I'm going after James White later rounds because with Drake because he's going to fit that role that Josh McDaniels like to kind of like be that safety net because we all know Josh Jacobs is a liability when it comes into the wide receiver spot. Like he's not a pass catching running back. Can he catch it? Sure, but I mean his numbers are not high. I think
no
like,
threat.
Yeah, no threat at all. He's more or less been a standard, first, second down running back. Maybe plays slow down, close goal line, 1 yard, what have you, in the red zone. That's pretty much been his makeup. But in terms of like, if they're 3rd and 15, they're not playing him. They're bringing in Drake.
Traditionally in a Patriots offense, it's always been that third down back that's been the fantasy kind of prize, if you will. And I think you made some good points about Kenyon Drake, and we'll kind of see how that offense goes. One thing with Oakland, they can't really afford to kind of figure things out because that division could be won or lost within the first 4 weeks. Because I think right now, I think Kansas City's heard a lot of noise this offseason about how Patrick Mahomes, teams have figured him out. How in the world are they going to be able to get past no Tyreek Hill? I think they're going to have a strong start to the season because I'm sure they're sick of hearing it. They've heard it from us. They've heard it from me. I have question marks, but I just kind of have that sneaky feeling that Patrick Mahomes heard a lot of he heard a lot of noise last year, and probably in his first couple of years, all the noise he heard was how he's probably the best quarterback who's ever going to end up playing the game of football. And so we'll see kind of how that goes. Before we end the show, only got about 4 or so minutes left. Deshaun Watson, we finally get a ruling from the Deshaun Watson case. It ends up being a settlement. Deshaun took all this time to finally end up settling with the NFL. 11-game suspension, $5 million fine, which is the biggest fine that can be handed out by the NFL. So not only will he have the $5 million, he'll miss the game checks of the 11 games this year. And we should add that this first season for Deshaun Watson, the cap number isn't a lot at all. I think he was only going to get a combined $1 million through the entire year this season because the Browns and Deshaun Watson both knew what was going to happen. Ray, your reaction to Deshaun Watson, 1, settling, and 2, his response to it, pretty much still maintaining innocence, saying that he did not assault any women at all, but he just wanted to move on, and that's why he settled.
Where do I begin on this? I've been thinking about this topic all week. We talked about this on the afternoon stretch about the Deshaun Watson.
And we wanted to leave this till late because I don't know.
Why is he apologizing again? What was his exact terms? I think it was because it impacted or
it triggered people.
It triggered
he
people.
used the word trigger.
Of course, it triggered people.
Right.
You got to think about what the other NFL players will think about, like, playing with this guy. I mean, like, what their thoughts are. Like, what are your thoughts on Deshaun Watson? Now, by doing the settlement, even though you're not guilty or found guilty, does that admit guilt?
To some people, they think so.
But at the end of the day, guess what? Next year, this won't even be an issue. Why 11 games, by the way? You know why? Because the NFL, they're led by geniuses.
And I think Deshaun had a lot of say in this as well. I don't think there's any mystery that he gets to come back to where, Ray?
The Houston Texans. And guess what we'll be talking about all week 11?
Right.
All about the Deshaun Watson. He's going home to play against the Houston Texans. And then what happens by the end of the season? There might be a little flutters. He might have to address whatever. Then it's all going to be behind him. And next year, it's forgotten.
Right.
And then he starts winning, and then it becomes an afterthought. That's just what NFL, that's just what happens with players of this caliber. I mean, this is what they deal with. I mean, it just no one cares after a while. And it sucks. It really sucks. You know, because there were people impacted on this. It's a lot of a bigger issue than many people think. And I think a lot of fans are like, you have your Deshaun Watson sympathizers.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but you have others who are like, oh,
and they're mostly
screw him,
Browns
you know?
fans, and that's fine.
Yeah, they're like, oh, screw him, whatever. But after week 11, once he serves his suspension, settlements have been paid. He comes back. He plays in Houston. It's all forgotten.
Yep, and part of this, and something that was in there, is that he's got to go. I don't know if therapy is the word, but he's got to go through some courses. And my only question of this entirety is whenever he goes through therapy, these kind of meetings, whatever you want to say, will he have to admit guilt to this person? Is that part of the stipulations? Because he has been very clear, although there was an interview that he did with our friend Aditi, who actually it was pretty cool. She was on a TV walking with Deshaun Watson. In that interview with her, it almost sounded like he was apologetic and that he understood I shouldn't have done some of the stuff. And then again, he came out in this press conference and said, I don't feel like I did anything wrong. I just want to move past this, and I want to help the team move past it. My only worrying question mark is he going to have to admit guilt, or because he's not able to come back until he completes these courses? I think that's the word they used in the statement. So still there's question marks about Deshaun Watson. Once again, week 13 is that game that he will come back for. Of course, one of the 12 weeks, there's a bye in there for Deshaun. So, but we finally get an answer. Ray, we've been doing this show for, I think, 6 months now. We finally ended up getting an answer on Deshaun
finally.
Watson.
And you know what? When it comes to what Deshaun Watson has to do, he just has to massage through his feelings there.
Yeah. No more.
Too soon? Too soon?
No more of the regular massages for Deshaun Watson. That is for sure. Well, it was a great show to be back. Next week, we will recap the final week of preseason for the Titans and beyond.
Yeah, absolutely. Be sure to check out for our checks on social media. We're going to post out our stuff if you want to join our Listeners League.
Yep.
Run With It Lunches League. We're going to have prizes, giveaways. We're looking so forward to it, and we'll announce all that here in the coming weeks.
Fun show here on Nashville Sports Radio. We will see you next week here on Run With It. Nashville Sports Radio. We'll see you next Sunday.